Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 700. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Cheers to everybody.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, people?
All right, so you guys saw Warcraft?
Yes.
Yep.
What happened?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was a decent movie. I'll be quite honest, it's a matinee movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay full price for it.
Yeah, I agree. It was probably. I'll say this: I thought it was better than the last Hobbit movie that came out.
It had kind of a biblical feel to the way I watched it.
It did, yeah. There was. I don't play World of Warcraft or Warcraft, so I didn't. I have nothing really to base this on.
Right.
But I mean, it was okay. They didn't assume that the people going to see it knew everything because they pretty much explained everything pretty well.
Okay.
But it was okay. It was all right.
The whole let's put the baby in the water and let them send him downstream.
Come on. What?
Yes.
Well, that does happen though in the game, though.
Yeah,
apparently, a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie happens in some form or another in the game. So.
There was nothing that you could say, oh my God, this was freaking fantastic.
No.
Nothing.
The orc females, yes, they may look hot, but that's pretty much it.
I mean, I think I don't know if they used motion capture, but if they did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
But I gotta say though, I didn't really care about anybody in this movie. There are people dying, and I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, there's another one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it may not have done fantastic over here.
It's like one of those weekend movies. Like it's one of those. Well, I've seen this. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just see what Warcraft is. Something different. It's like one of those. Let's go see something that's not a superhero movie or a romance comedy type of thing.
Right. I mean, I'm going to look up the box office right now. Okay, so Warcraft basically did 24,356,000 here. But overseas it did $261 million. So it did guarantee a sequel.
Yeah, I thought by
what I
watching
heard. It's almost it's 286 million, and it's still growing overseas. So they said it's probably going to get a sequel, even though it really kind of bombed here.
Yeah. Well, this is similar to what happened with Pacific Rim. Like it did okay over here, but then overseas it went through the roof, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" That's why it's kind of on. It's kind of on interesting legs, this movie, along with Pacific Rim. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of this has to do with that Chinese corporation buying out Legendary, because I think that. They are kind of dictating how and what gets made. Hopefully, they make another one of these for people who want to see them. I think they will. They definitely left it open to a sequel. That was my other problem with this movie. They sequel baited for like the whole second half of the movie.
That's another thing.
Yeah, the whole second half of the movie was like, oh, you want to know what this is? We're going to make another movie. Oh, you want to know who this is? We're going to make another movie. Oh, you want to see how this turns out? We're going to make another movie.
Feeling, Chris.
It was like, oh my gosh.
That is terrible.
But yeah.
I'm not, I'm not really into that. But I mean, a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And the game, I have played it. It is great. World of Warcraft 2 or whatever, right? But I don't know. I mean, look, it did what it had to do somehow. Not here, but overseas. So, yeah, it's getting a sequel. Now, we all saw, I agree, I think, right? The Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Yeah,
I didn't go, but I don't care about it, to tell you the truth.
Well, me and Scott saw it, and I thought it was okay. I wasn't thinking that it was like, great.
It was childish. It was like
See, I'm a fan of Turtles, so I was like, I'm not against it. I could see they're trying to go for the kiddie thing, but they're teenagers, so it should be a little more grown. Yeah. But I do
Amell did a great job as Casey Jones, I will say that much.
Oh, Stephen Amell? Yeah, absolutely. I honestly want another Turtles. Because
what I was thinking,
I'm going to do better.
Is the next one, if not the next one, then the fourth one should have the female ones. And the setup is where they could have the female turtles come about is one of the turtles could be like, was pretty much one was like belonged to like a city councilman, sort of like a hostage. Two were runaways, and the fourth was Baxter Stockman's daughter.
But do they have female turtles in the comic? Not really.
I know they
There
did.
was one.
There was one, right? That was a
one
TV
on the show that they did for a little while. She was.
Yeah.
See, the whole thing was it wasn't like you could just make turtles mutants. It was just they were just supposed to be special. That was it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, in the comic, I don't think there was a female.
The cartoon, I know that.
Yeah, I don't think in the comic they were ever going to do any other turtles other than them.
No, but I'll tell you what, though. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were going to do that, because I really do think that with the way movies are made now, I feel like part of this, and I may offend people with this, but hey, I think part of it is just to please either other men or women, mostly the feminists, to please them, or to please this whole homosexual movement now. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like they don't put a lot of effort into it. So I could see there being female turtles. I mean, they could probably do it. They probably won't explain it well. They could explain it well, and if they explain it well, I would have nothing against it. But
well, there's nothing wrong with having like the gay community, like of characters in there or anything.
Absolutely not. No.
I don't see that, but
make it relevant to the story.
I mean,
I feel like
April O'Neil is a strong.
Iceman also he's gay.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, it to me, it feels like sometimes when they make movies like this, it seems like they have a checklist, like a list of checks, and they go, okay, black character, check, gay character, check, female character, check, but they don't put any effort into it. No. So they wind up either being stereotypical or completely lackluster. Which
right, well, Baxter was it? His name is Baxter Stockman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He was white though. In the show.
This is what I'm saying.
Right. So the other guy they made that guy black, but and April's boss was a guy, not a girl, right? Yeah. So they made Whoopi Goldberg was black in the first one, and then they didn't even have her in the second one.
No. Well, this is what I'm trying to wrap my head around this too, right? Like all these people are getting offended. All these women are getting offended.
Are you talking about the X-Men poster now?
Yeah. This is what I want to know.
For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, it was an X-Men ads, right? Mm-hmm. A big billboard showing Apocalypse grabbing Mystique by the throat, right? Now, I guess feminists took offense to that.
They thought that was like an attack on women.
But that's first of all, two of the Four Horsemen were women.
Yes.
Mystique is going to want to train the X-Men, which is ridiculous in itself.
Mystique is like the main character of the movie.
Right. And so, I don't really see how you could say that it's against women when Apocalypse don't care if you're a man, a woman, a child.
Basically, they were talking about how, he's holding her up by the throat, so here's a guy attacking a woman. That's all.
But didn't they have a poster of like Deadpool where the woman was beating the crap out of like Colossus, like a billboard, like she was
okay.
Out?
Oh, that's perfect.
Well, this is why I brought it up, right? We have all these women getting offended about that.
But they don't even read the comic, or they don't even go to the movies.
But I'm relating this back to Turtles, though.
Okay.
There's a scene in Turtles where Megan Fox is like the most over-sexualized thing ever.
Yeah.
No, but they're not taking offense at that.
See,
I'm trying to understand this here. Like
here's from what I understand, right? She got in a lot of trouble on the Transformer set, where they didn't make her in the third one, right?
Yes.
And Steven Spielberg told Michael Bay to fire her, right?
Yes.
Well, now in his movie, it's not Steven Spielberg, but he brought her back and he covered her up the whole first Turtles movie. I mean, it was not an inch of like cleavage or anything.
Or skin, yep.
Nothing. It was like totally like, here, put the smock on. So I guess that was like a punishment thing where if you could do it without showing the, and the movie does great, then in the next one, you're just whatever, you know? That's what I got from it. So now she's like all over the place, showing everything off. And I'm like, well, you want to be a kid's movie, but then you want to show that.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm like,
shouldn't there be like some, like, I feel like that, like, if you're going to complain about this, you have an issue with it. Wouldn't this be something that they have an issue with?
They don't, though, really. Nobody said anything about that.
Because she's a powerful woman in the movie. Because she's a powerful woman in the movie.
She stole clothing, and nobody made a big deal about that. Like, it's like,
well, I mean, the whole thing with Apocalypse, with that thing with Apocalypse too, there was a lot of symbolism in that because she was the hope for a lot of those mutants, right? It was basically like he was grabbing their hope by the throat and saying, "It's not here anymore."
But they weren't seeing that.
But see, the only reason why I think they twisted it like that is because Hunger Games is over, and she needs to have a movie where it's like Hunger Games, where she's like leading everybody or training everybody. I don't even think they're going to go in that direction where everybody has posters of Mystique on the wall and like they worship her. I think they're like, well, you know, Jennifer Lawrence, we want you to be in more X-Men movies. She's like, well, I will be if I could hardly have the makeup on and just be myself and lead the X-Men. They're like, okay. I mean, that's what I.
That's basically what they're doing.
That's what I got. It's like, oh, yeah, sure. I mean, you know, we don't have to have Hank, like, train the X-Men. Yeah. Because, like, really, nobody was really going to be training the X-Men. I mean, you weren't seeing Wolverine going to be a trainer or, like, anybody else. Like, it was just like, all right, so that's a good idea because we didn't think about that. So let's just throw her in there. You know? And Magneto, too, it's like, all right, well, regardless of, like, the first, you know, the third, fourth movie, you killed all those people, you know, and then the second one you kill people or whatever. You know, well, actually, he kills people until, like, Professor X tells him not to kill people, and then you see he's, like, knocking people out, like in Days of Future Past, like, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, so you killed all these people in Apocalypse, but now what the hell are you going to be? Are you going to be good? Are you going to be bad? Are you going to be like, what? You just walked out, and it's like, all right, Professor X, that's his friend, so we're just going to let him go, even though, like, kill, like, you know, I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't know at all. What the hell? But I did like Apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
And I obviously he's doing great in the box office too. It already got a, you know, even though they announced the movie ahead of time, it can have a sequel because it is profitable. So
and it's on Renierland now too. So if you want to see it again, you can check out Renierland.
I mean, for those of you who are just curious about what it's actually doing, you know me, I'm a nut when it comes to that stuff. So I watched the box office. So I'm going to tell you right now, X-Men Apocalypse right now stands at $478 million. Budget was $178 million. Over here, it did $136 million. The surprise though is because everybody was kind of like backlashing it, and they were saying it was done. I'm sorry, but in a movie that's out like in its third week, for it to make like, you know, almost $3 million Friday, almost $4,300,000 on Saturday, and almost $3 million on Sunday, it's not really going away. So, and it's doing well. Most of these movies drop off. And this is in domestically, mind you. So overseas it was doing great too. So as much as people who didn't like it are saying, oh, it's done, and they're doing these stupid videos and they're doing these stupid things about who could save the X-Men franchise, it's all a lie because box office don't lie. And it's telling you a different story that basically the X-Men future is in good hands. They're going to make 2 more, and it's not in jeopardy of them not making one. So I know some people had a problem with the movie, and that's fine. If you don't like it, that's okay. But to make videos about it, make lies where the thing is in jeopardy, it's no way, shape, or form in jeopardy. It's not going back to Marvel anytime soon. And it doesn't have to go back to Marvel because they're doing it right. So I know.
Yeah, and Singer said this was going to be a swan song for X-Men for right now, anyways.
I don't agree with. I like Angry Joe, like with his stuff. I don't agree with his assessment of certain things with that. I enjoyed it, and I could be very picky because I do read the comics.
Father's Day is coming soon.
I do read the comics.
Dry skin.
Oh.
I do read the comics, and I know the whole story of Apocalypse and everything, so I could pick at it, but I just went in there and enjoyed it and didn't really have to pick at different things. It was a fun movie to me.
This one also reminded me, this last one also reminded me something of like Age of Apocalypse, the way they were throwing bits and pieces.
But that's not what this movie is.
I know. I was just saying.
Later on, they can bring them back. But anyway, we're getting off track. Another movie that came out this week, Conjuring 2, did very well in the box office. Now, I didn't see it yet. I'm probably going to see it eventually. Mm-hmm. Let me just get you. Hold on, the number. Okay, so it cost $40 million to make, and of course, it made $90 million. So worldwide. So, and it's still, domestically, it made 40. So it made back its budget in 3 days, and it's still out. So it's gonna do well. It's probably gonna finish off at like $150 million or something. And there's gonna be a Conjuring 3.
Yeah,
in case you didn't know. So
once again, it's one of these little quickie movies they can dish out every 2 years or so, and
another thing
from super, like I said, superhero movies and all these other movies that are being put out.
Yeah. Another thing is Civil War, Captain America: Civil War, $1,142,357,343. Now, on the weekend, regardless of the length of time it's been out, I mean, it basically made like $4 or $5 million. So it is slowing down, but it's not done. So, I would be happy when it makes domestically $400 million, which it will by next Saturday. So, that's really awesome. Great job there. So, that's done. Now, if Deadpool was released in China,
oh God,
that would have done probably another 100 million.
But they've got a problem with R-rated and violence movies. So.
Well, what are you gonna do? Any news, Chris?
Yes, there is some news we have.
Okay.
Let's see. Go with this one first. We have the Telltale has revealed their Batman game.
Yeah.
So this looks really, really good. There's some pictures of it now of Batman and Catwoman and Batman and the Batmobile and Bruce Wayne and the Batcave and whatnot. I mean, it looks good. I mean, Telltale's responsible for that Walking Dead game
Right.
that's getting a third part now, which looks really good. I think this is going to be great.
So now they're allowed to make games, and that other company's allowed to make Arkham games, or they're not doing Arkham games anymore?
There's no more Arkham games, I don't believe.
They lost the rights to Batman, or
Huh?
did they lose the rights to do a Batman movie?
No, I
A
think they
game?
just gave. I think they just gave Telltale the permission to do it.
Oh.
Because Telltale's. I think Telltale also did a Back to the Future game as well.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. But if they want to make Batman games, they can still do that, right?
I'm assuming they can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we also saw the Zelda. I mean, tomorrow's E3, right? So.
Well, it started today.
It started a little bit. Yeah, we got a little bits and pieces of Zelda for the Nintendo NX and Wii U, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have more stuff to talk about tomorrow. Well, actually, no. I won't be doing any cast tomorrow, guys.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Joe's graduating. So,
Congratulations.
Yes, he did fantastic. So, taking off with Sharon, and we're going to attend the ceremony. It's going to be really nice. And we'll be back here Tuesday with podcasts. So, there you go. What was I saying now? All right, so, yeah, so the E3, we'll be covering that on Tuesday and Wednesday, stuff like that. Any movie news? Anything going on?
Well, I mean, staying with the topic of E3, we got an Injustice 2 gameplay trailer along with a teaser trailer, which I think
I saw the teaser trailer. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I believe that might be Ra's al Ghul talking in the background of the first trailer, because he says every time I come out of the pit, something, something. So
Yeah.
it also looks like a new gimmick they're doing is something to do with armoring up the characters, because each character seems to have one or two different forms of armor, which looks pretty cool. I'm interested to see, like, when I saw Armored Superman, I was like, that looks like overkill. But, I mean, the game looks good. I wasn't expecting an Injustice 2, but I'm glad they're doing it.
I love the fact that one of his Batman's armor is that resembles that of the Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Superman has that weird, funky armor too, right?
Yeah, they all do. All of them do, apparently.
I wonder if they're basing it on the Man of Steel armor, though. I got to take another look at it.
Well, they'll probably do skins. They'll probably do like a Man of Steel skin, because you got to remember, I mean, next year we're getting the Wonder Woman movie, so they'll probably have a Wonder Woman movie skin for the game, and then Justice League is next year too.
Why can't we have a Wonder Woman game?
Huh?
Why can't they make a Wonder Woman game?
They've been actually pulling back from doing movie licensed hero games recently. Because I mean, think about it though. When was the last movie licensed hero game?
I would like to.
At the time when they do it, it's just like a reprint of the movie.
Yeah, it's a terrible. Like usually the games are terrible.
I haven't seen a Spider-Man game in a while either.
Yeah.
And the one game
Spider-Man 2 I did the mini
years ago was decent.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because when you think about it, Avengers didn't have a game.
That's disappointing.
And before that, I mean, freaking, after that, it was like Iron Man 3 didn't have a game.
That's crazy.
Ant-Man didn't have a game. They stopped making movie licensed games because they didn't do well. Every time they would put one out,
like I said, they just
2 out of 10. Nobody bought it. It was a terrible game. So I understand why they stopped, because I think the new thing is going to be alternate universe games where they're not based in the movies.
Right.
Pretty much like fighter games.
Which they could do with that. I mean, I don't understand why they don't do Spider-Man games like that. I mean, basically they can make a Spider-Man game where they take directly from the comics and then go in order. And they could do like Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man comic edition. And then you're like, all right, they could do like a story arc where they could do a game on the Clone Saga. Or they can do a story arc on Spider-Verse, or they can do I mean, well, I know they did like stuff like that already, but I mean, there's so much stuff they could do. I mean, they could do the whole Superior Spider-Man game on that. I mean, Anyway, anything on Kong?
Nope.
Damn.
Nothing new. There was some news. I told you about this a couple of days ago, which has me a little worried, but not too worried. But I'm wondering what's going on. They had a press conference in Japan about Shin Gojira.
Okay.
And they revealed some of the toys and stuff, and all of it looks really, really good. All the merchandise, I have to say, they've done a hell of a job with the merchandise. I mean, unbelievable stuff. But then they asked one of the directors about the movie, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's not done yet." And I said, "What? We're a month away, like a little more than a month away." And he was like, "Oh, don't worry, this is all natural. This happens." And so he's basically, I mean, everybody on the internet is like, "Oh yeah, it's okay." I don't know if that's okay. I'm kind of confused.
I mean, I know there was some movies that they edited to the end, and it's like they got a month to go. But I don't really see the purpose of why it would take. I mean, he's not fighting anybody. It's not like it's. I mean,
is he nip and tucking just some scenes here, and that's why it's not?
Well, I mean, it could be. That's why I'm not too worried about it. But when he said it, I was like, "It's not done yet."
But I don't understand. It's not. I'm nothing against the movie, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like there's tons of monsters he's fighting where they have to do special effects, they have to do this, they have to do that. It's just Godzilla destroying the city, right? The cities. I mean, yeah, all right, everybody's fighting. Got the superpowers are fighting, right? But what the hell are you editing? I mean, why couldn't that be done? If the movie was done like a while, I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, you trying to compose something? Maybe is it
Well,
I'm wondering.
the soundtrack?
This is what they released news about the soundtrack. They said it's going to be available to buy sometime soon. But this is what I'm wondering. I'm sitting here like, and as soon as he said it, it hit me. I said, "This is why there's no marketing."
Right.
Because it's not done.
You can't even make a trailer out of it, probably. But I've seen marketing. But the thing is, it's like they've shown different things of Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it's great. I really do. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the most hodgepodge, like.
Oh yeah.
Like, let me. The plane ain't done, so let me hold it together with glue bullshit I've ever seen. Like with gum and stuff. I mean, it's like, okay, look, you're gonna make a movie, right? You don't need to get the trailer up then, okay? Don't even announce the damn movie. Make sure the thing is like just about done before you put together a trailer and because you obviously, it's like now they got the pressure on. So what happens when they have the pressure on? They make mistakes sometimes, right?
That's what I'm worried about.
So like maybe it was just bad idea to mention that there was a Shin Godzilla at all. Maybe they should have just like started getting more stuff done before they opened their mouth and they put. Because I mean, basically, we got. I mean, you consider that a teaser trailer. You consider it a real trailer.
No, I consider the first thing we got way back when was a teaser trailer, and that was terrible.
With
that
the
was
people
the
running.
Trailer I've ever seen in my life.
The one we seen was an actual trailer.
The one we saw was an actual trailer. That was.
We're not going to. Obviously, we're not going to get another trailer. They're just going to pop.
No, I think we're going to get commercials now. I think that's what we're going to get.
I think they're just going to put it out. But the problem is that if you want your product to make money, why wouldn't you release it here? I mean, you really don't think it could make money here? I mean,
this is what I mean. This is what I'm saying, right? And again, I wouldn't say half of the stuff I say about this movie if their first statement about this movie wasn't, we're making another Godzilla movie, and we're going to show America how to do it. Ours is going to devour theirs.
It doesn't really look like it's going to devour.
It's like, shut your mouths. Just make a damn movie.
It really doesn't look like it's going to devour ours.
It doesn't. Because now when you say that, I'm sorry. You got to pull out all the guns, and you're not. It doesn't look like they are.
The first word out of your mouth is, oh, we're not done with it yet. That's what makes people think, okay, your movie sucks, and...
Yeah, if they would have just come out and said, you know what, we loved the legendary Godzilla, which they did. I don't know why they're getting pissed off now. They're like, oh, you know,
egos, dude.
What they should have said was, you know what, we're planning on making another Godzilla movie.
There you go.
Differently, it's coming out in 2016. Stay tuned for more stuff. Then I would have kept my mouth shut.
What they should have said is, we've got it planned for around the 2016, 2017 season. That way they've got some leeway in case something goes wrong. They can say, well, they didn't really promise it in 16 or 17. They said right. It's the era, it's within that those two era brackets.
Right.
I just think that, you know, if you're going to make a statement like ours is going to be better, I don't see, and I know you and I disagree with this possibly, Chris. I don't see any monsters. And I know you can say, oh, yeah, you can have a great Godzilla movie without monsters. Okay, but if you want it to be our version, he fought monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't you have, like, a new version of, like, Mothra? Or I mean, I know, you know, we want to see new monsters, right? But at least, like, if you're not going to throw a new monster in it, throw an old monster in it. You know? Like King Ghidorah or whatever, like something.
I would have something, but I mean, they've made it very clear that they want this to be as close to 54 as possible.
But that's just ridiculous.
So they're not putting. I don't think they're going to put any other monsters into it.
Here's the thing. Yes, the first one didn't have monsters, but the whole point of Godzilla's popularity is because of all the monsters he fought. It grew, like, not based on the first movie, but every single movie he's fighting a monster. So, yeah, you want to keep doing rehashes of the first one, okay, 1985 or whatever, but it's not going to work in this day and age because it's something that people have seen before.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see monsters. That's what I think, Chris. I know you don't agree with that, but
No, I agree with what you're saying. I think that's for the casual audience.
in the 50s it worked.
Would rather see that. But I think that what they're doing is they're making this movie obviously just for the fans of Godzilla, because why else wouldn't they release it anywhere else other than in Asia? And honestly, I think the reason that he's probably not fighting any other monsters is because the two Godzilla movies that are the most popular are Gojira and The Return of Godzilla '84, both of which he was alone. So I would have had him introduced. I would have been, if I was making this, let's say everything was the same, I would have had one or two new monsters that weren't the main point. Honestly, I think they would just be there for cannon fodder,
Right.
just so we could see what this new Godzilla does. And then in the second movie, I would say, okay, now we're going to bring in Gigan. Now we're going to bring in the third one, Mothra or Rodan. Personally, I would love to see a Godzilla movie where he just fights Rodan, because that never happened. He's always been with Rodan and other monsters, but there was never Godzilla and Rodan fighting. I would love to see maybe what a Shin Rodan might be, because I'm hearing maybe, there's not rumors, but people have come up with the idea of maybe calling this era of Godzilla the Shin era or the Resurgence era, and having these really creative designs for all the other kaiju as well, which would be nice. But I gotta say, if this one doesn't do well, bye-bye Godzilla in Japan. We'll see you in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
You really think they'll stop production in Godzilla 2 here?
Yes, because they've done that three times before. I shouldn't say that. They've done that twice before. The second time that Godzilla went away, it wasn't on a bad note. But in the Showa era, it ended on a bad note, and in the Millennium era, it ended on a really bad note. So,
I honestly think that when you're making a Godzilla movie in Japan, Toho, it shouldn't be about let's top them or we got to top these people. No. Do your Godzilla movies, make a series out of it. All right, you do your Shin Gojira, then the next one, Shin Gojira versus. Now, Shin means what? Resurgence or means new?
Shin means three different things. It depends on how you want it.
New Godzilla?
It could mean new, God, or like something else.
So God Godzilla?
Something like that, yeah.
God Godzilla. That's stupid. Okay. So, and it doesn't mean Resurgence?
No. Resurgence was the title they made. And this is something I don't understand. They made an American title, but they have no plans of reducing it or of releasing it over here. Right. Why?
Okay, so then make a Shin Gojira series, like you said.
Yes.
But do it now before even the movie comes out. Set it up, right? And set up as a whole package deal. Like, even if this movie doesn't do well, right? My challenge is try it a different way. Try it with monsters, okay? It doesn't have to be 10 monsters or 5 monsters. It could be 1 or 2, okay? You could have maybe someone helping him or maybe not. You want to show the dominance of Godzilla, then you have him fight. But you don't have to make each movie that it has to be the ultimate movie. Have fun with it. So I challenge, and I'm publicly held with Matrix One, challenge Toho that don't put Godzilla away for 20 years. Just go ahead and make another Godzilla movie where he's fighting monsters and see how it does.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Because I don't think half the times these people that are the head of these companies that they put it, I don't think they get it themselves.
They're just heads. They just money. If they don't see the return, we'll go to somebody else.
Well, I was really hoping that in this movie, and they took a step in the right direction with the CGI enhancements. I was hoping that they either would have done a whole CGI Godzilla, or they would have dabbled in motion capture.
We got less than a minute.
There's never been a motion capture Godzilla.
Yeah. We got less than a minute. I don't know how many seconds we got left, so
that was basically it.
We could carry it over into another show if you want. If not, take care, bye for now, basically.